Peace of the Saints. I come to you today to deliver an important message, mostly a sad message. And I want to let everyone know that I'm not here to roast anyone. I do want to give a review of the thread wherein this black female basically betrayed me and displayed some of the worst traits that we see in black women. This does not mean that all black women display these traits, but I thought that this would be a teachable moment, so I figured we should go through it. And it'll be educational not only for the black female, but also for black men. As we go through, if you have any comments, questions, please use the information below and as well in the description of the video to share it. And my request for all of you, especially the black women watching, is that you would try your best to listen for understanding and take the lessons that apply to you and use them, for your own good to make your life better. I'm not here to insult you or to offend you. So anyways, let's go ahead and get to this work. So firstly, if you all don't mind, I'm going to show you the video so that you all have the proper context, because it's important for you to be able to assess that you understand what we're talking about. And you all have seen me put out a ton of content. And what you should know is that I'm experienced, wise enough, shrewd enough to know that if I were to just speak to you like this and articulate the message, most of you won't get it. Many of you will tune out. And the reason is you have a short attention span. Some of you are short on IQ. Others of you need to be entertained constantly. And so accepting the world that we are in, sometimes make the message a little bit spicy just to get it to your ears and also to make it more shareable. But one thing you can always count on is that the message is always honest and I'm always speaking from the facts. You never have a situation wherein I'm exaggerating or I'm making something up or I'm saying something to get views. I think you guys would be really shocked to know how many sponsorship deals I've turned down, whether it's jewelry brands, alcohol brands, vape brands, or just products that I don't use. I think you guys would also be shocked to know how many interviews I decline. People say, hey, can I interview you? No, thank you. I'll pay you. No, thank you. And how many people ask to be on the platform? Sometimes you guys say, well, where'd you get this person? And you'd be shocked that that one person I allowed on, there were 13 other people that I did not allow on just because they'll certainly get ratings. They're not interesting to talk to. They're not a value add. They're clout chasing. They'll be entertaining, but they'll not give you, there's no lesson behind it. So anyways, I say all that to say, if you'd be kind enough to try your best to understand this, and I hope that with me speaking to you nicely, you can understand why most of the time I speak to you harshly. It's necessary, and I understand that. So I do what is effective. We are in desperate times, and desperate times call for desperate measures, I assure you. And for the foolish among you, if you would be so kind as to use your brain before you type into my live chat, I'd appreciate it, which is all I'm asking is just think and then write out what you have to say. It's a basic. I talk about things like this and more important things in my Master Communicator course. Think before you write, before you speak, especially as a man. You speak with purpose. You should have a goal. All right. So I'm going to play the video for you once it starts playing. If you populate Alpha 1 in the chat to confirm that you can actually hear it. Thank you.
To my sisters. I want to talk to my sisters. To my sisters. We hear a lot that black men who are successful don't date black women. There are many explanations for that. That's a multivariate explanation.
So first, note, I said there are many explanations, meaning multiple reasons. It's not so simple. There's some complexity there.
However, I will tell you something that I've experienced recently. A lot of black women asking me for money, which is bizarre because...
Now, mind you, this is important. I said something that I experienced recently. Now, remember, I didn't grow up around white folks. I grew up around black folks. Never had this experience. Then went into university, was very successful after university, very well off financially, never had an issue. As soon as the clout comes, then we start to have the situation. And for people in the chat, we have someone here who writes, "Hey, you're a misogynist." Very good. If you have that perspective, I'll be more than happy to engage you. All we ask is that you send $1 using PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App, and just include your email address, and I'll send you the link so that you can come on and make your explanations. We're more than happy to give you a platform to express yourself. We just don't use our chat as a place to be negative, hateful, or even foolish. So if you'd like to come on and articulate that, we'd be more than happy to hear you out on your claims. But otherwise, let that be the final word on that. If you don't have $1 to send your email address so that we can send you the link so you can join on, then just kick back and be silent. We thank you for that. Carrying on.
It's like, yeah, I don't even know you, shorty. Block, 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 block. But it's important to note that while Black women are the minority in the United States.
I also want you to make a note here. This is really important because we're going to go through what Black women are saying. I stated that Black women are asking me for money on a consistent basis. And I just said, I don't even know you, which is to say they're strangers. You'll see a dim-witted Black female in the comments and she'll say, well, where are you meeting these women? Well, I'm not, you fool. I'm a public figure. They're reaching out. And I said, I don't know you, which is to say we're not familiar, we're not friends, we really have nothing to do with one another. Yet they're still begging for money. And the sad thing is that Black women will pretend as though they're not familiar with this phenomena. This is in your music. You can hear this in the music of Sexy Red and Nicki Minaj and all of these women, Meg the Stallion. And mind you, a stallion's a male horse. And this is the masculine or the fake masculine veneer that women put on. Black woman especially wants to pretend as though she's a boss babe, she's wealthy, but in actual reality, she's begging for money from people, not wealthy at all. They want to compete with the man, and men, we compete on the basis of success, money. And so the women feign or they portray success while not having it, and then still they have to beg men for money on the back end so that they could have the things that they desire. So we'll get into it, we'll break down all of it, but I want you to hear this initial video and just take these notes.
Say, as opposed to white women, no white woman has ever asked me for money. And this makes perfect sense. The extractive nature of the average Black woman in America.
I said, no white woman has ever asked me for money. That's a fact. And there's no reason to lie about that. You guys have heard me be critical of white people consistently, male and female. And in the Black code, you've heard me break it down really on a scientific level. So I have no reason to lie about that. It's the truth. No white woman, no Latina, no Arab, no other woman other than Black women have ever asked me for money. And in fact, it's only been as of late that Black women have been asking me for money. When I say as of late, I mean since I've had clout, not since I've had money. There have been times that Black women could have asked me for money. Remember, I was doing well long before YouTube, but I was in the tech business, you see. I was a tech CEO. And given the nature of women, Black women, when you meet them, they say, what do you do for a living? And you say, I run a technology company. To them, it doesn't really register, to many of them. It doesn't register. It doesn't say cha-ching, right? But if you meet a Black woman and she says, what do you do? And you say, oh, not too much. And then she looks you up on Instagram and then she sees that you have a very large following. To her, that's cha-ching plus social status plus let me show my girlfriends and my mom and all these other things that are only relevant to a being who is immature. Yes? But anyways, let's get back to this.
America. And this is not to suggest that white women are not extractive or Asians or Arabs are not extractive, but here's the difference, and it's an important one. Black women say that they're independent. You know, this Beyonce song lyric, all my single ladies and, you know, all my independent women, all that crap. So they want the money separate from the men. Whereas a white woman might want a man with money, an Asian woman might want a man with money, a Latina and Arab might want a man with money. The Black woman is so disagreeable and dysfunctional that she can't get along with the man. So she just wants the money. She like, just give me the money. I'll take that to go. And this is really.
Marquette, you're saying that black women can't get along with black men. By the way, hit the like button because we got some. We're gonna get into it today, ladies and saints. You're gonna enjoy this, or it's going to piss you off. Marquette, what's the evidence of the black woman not being able to get along with the black man? 70% illegitimacy. She can get along with him long enough to open her legs, gets pregnant, and then can't hold on to him because of one of three things that I articulate in this video. Number one, being unruly. Number two, being unproductive, meaning not being able to engage in the activities and duties of a wife mother. And number three, well, I'll let you listen to the video.
Really the same behavior as a bona fide street stroller. Yes, a woman who earns her money laying down. They take the money to go disconnected from the man. They don't want the protection, the provision. They're just out there like a renegade. And this is unfortunately all too common among black women. And the more I go up in visibility, not even in wealth, the more I go up in visibility, black women can't assess money. They can assess clout. Whereas when I was running an international software business with offices in South Korea, offices in Puerto Rico, offices throughout the United States, I was dealing with a lot more incoming interest from whites and Asians and Arabs because those women are about the money. They don't need the clout. They're like, oh, he has the money, that'll do. Black women show up when I'm known on social media because they're chasing the clout and thinking clout equals money. And that's a whole nother story. But I'd like to see in the comments below your observations or even your confessions. And if there's a black woman in there who's like, you know what, Marquette, you taught me something. I'm going to stop behaving as though I sell my body for a living. Because the truth is, we can't claim that black men are seeking to date outside of their race when it's a little deeper. And a lot of it, as far as the successful black men go, is predicated on the lack of value add from the black women. Black men are not going to date you because you're black when you're valueless and extractive. Marquettism is for the kids. Marquettism saves lives.
So there you go. You heard my initial statement, completely fair. And one thing that you should take to heart is that I never said I don't date black women. I never said that I prefer white women. I've never said that once. Oppositely, I've always said that I prefer black women. You can trace that back to when I first came onto YouTube. The first YouTube video of me you've ever seen, go to that year and you'll hear me through every year saying, I prefer black women. In fact, I prefer natural black women, the ones that are really black, the ones that are not imitating the white woman. So that's been consistent over the years. Now let's see, so there's the truth. So now let's see what black women say out of their mouth. And I want you all to really take this into consideration as we watch what they say, the evil that they express. I'm not a Charlie Kirk, someone who insults the black people. I'm not even someone who is critical of the black people while not doing anything for the black people. My life is documented. I also have a book called The Black Box. You can read about my works, which have been many, with the black people, black boys, black girls, black men, black women, and it continues on today. And it's at scale as well. It's not just been in the United States, it's been wherever you find black people. So, and I've also been awarded for my work, mind you. So there's that. You're talking about someone who cares enough that over the decades, they've worked on it consistently. So let's see how this black female speaks on my name. Pay attention. And I thought that this was really interesting because if she'll strike out at someone like me who has success, who's done all the things every man wants to do, who has all the education, the material things, the cash liquidity, of course she'll attack you, everyday black man. Yeah, everyday black man who might be working at CVS, who might be a janitor, who might be a blue collar worker, who might be a plumber, who might be a mortician, who has an everyday regular job. Oh, she's for sure going to try to attack you. If she can attack me, I'm at the top 1%. I'm at the top 0.01% of black males on the planet Earth. So if I'm a problem, then for sure you're a problem, right? And this is the evil nature of many black females. And this is why they must be dealt with in the ways that I prescribe, because you cannot heal them. I sometimes see people, I made a post recently on Instagram, a reel, I replied to a reel that was originally posted by Stop Playing Trey, and shout out to my young boy. And it was a black female on there from Baltimore. Mind you, I went to graduate school in Baltimore. I opened up a nonprofit in Baltimore. I raised millions of dollars for families in Baltimore. I know the city well. And this black female was speaking in the most aggressive, vicious, rude way. And then in the comments, you see so many people, male and female, saying, she needs therapy. You're all fools. 9 out of 9, therapy does not work. Go ask a therapist. Ask them, how many people have you healed? Find a psychologist, find a psychiatrist, and ask them, how many people have you healed? It's one of the few medical professions where the professional has a 0% success rate. Just imagine you ruptured your Achilles tendon and your surgeon had a 10% success rate. You wouldn't go. It would be laughable. But this is the case when you look at the therapist, the psychologist, the psychiatrist, or the counselor. It's like a 0% success rate. I say that to say this. You have a woman, someone who's reached womanhood, and they're misandrous, they're rude, they're unpleasant. They will never be a good woman. They must be discarded and marginalized so that they have no influence. They are broken. I repeat to you, they cannot be healed. You should not even attempt to heal them. You should avoid them and marginalize them and shun them. They are a poison to themselves and to others. They cannot be healed. This therapy culture is white culture, and it is not the best of white culture. It is the worst of white culture. Come on now. We're going to get into it. Before I hop over and show you what this black female has said, disgracing herself, shout out to Mr. Ferreira, writes, peace of the saints, I'll catch the replay. Came in again strong. He writes, Saint, I'm almost finished with Boston University, and the content of this course is truly unmatched. You really are the big homie. As an Afro-Latino, which one would you recommend I buy next? The Black Code or the Book of Dark Truths? The Black Code, 100%. 100%. And I think you as an Afro-Latino will particularly appreciate it, even maybe more so than black people in America or black people in Africa. I've traveled Latin America widely. In fact, just yesterday, I returned from Latin America. I know that you will find great solace, peace, and understanding and empowerment in the Black Code. And thank you for speaking well of Boston University. I hope that everyone who is looking to become strong in themselves so that they can find success out in the world tries out Boston University. It's one of my proudest works. And as he said, he's almost finished. It has a lot of information in there. Now, acknowledge the other folks. Shout out to Carter, came in via Venmo, writes, peace of the saints. Shout out to Justin, writes, peace of the saints tuition. I appreciate you. Pleasure to have met Justin. I always love when I can see folks whose faces and names I know. Elwood writes, one important thing to note, if the big homie hasn't already, is that wealthy black men in general still marry and date black women at just over 80%. Women in general think their anecdotal experience and feelings nullify the actual facts. Peace of the saints. Oh, absolutely. But it's not the fact that black men date outside of their race. It's the fact that black women have an inferiority complex. Marquette, inferior to who? The white woman. Marquette, what's your example? Her hair. Yes, the black woman's hair. The fact that she fries it and dyes it. Yes. Trying to emulate the beauty standard of the white woman. So subconsciously she can please and impress massa by looking like what he prefers. Come on now. Shout out to Daniel supporting the work. He writes, hey, Saint, quick question. What are the biggest traits you've noticed in your life of people around you being envious of you or comparing themselves to you? What is your reaction and action toward it? You know, the funny thing, I'm not even gonna lie to you, brethren. I didn't even realize jealousy was a real thing until I got out of college. I didn't even really know it was a real thing. And I think it's just because it's so far out of my nature, it never occurred to me that someone would be jealous of me because I'm not jealous of anyone else. If I see a brother that's well dressed, I'm inclined to compliment him. I see a brother that's good looking. Shout out. This is a good looking brother right here. I want to see people win. I'm happy when other people are happy. I'm happy to see people shining. So the idea of someone being jealous of me didn't cross my mind until it just became too blatant at times. And the only thing that you can do is to distance yourself. That's it. Get away from them. And that's why I always say, stay away from people who are broke and ugly. Marquette, what the hell does that mean? Broke. They don't have money. They want yours. They don't have money. They need yours. Ugly. Well, what's wrong with people being ugly? Well, when they're ugly, both outside and inside, but let's talk about outside since it's simple. When people are ugly, the world does not favor them. The world does not treat them well. That develops more ugliness on the inside of them. Furthermore, when people are ugly, they feel the need to try to, cheat and carve out an advantage for themselves because they feel like they're behind. When people are ugly, the world does not favor them. So they want to grab power so they can feel admired. They can feel respected because they did not get that when they were growing up. It's just the way the world is. I'm sorry. I'm just the messenger here, ladies and saints. I'm just the messenger. I also acknowledge Michael. He writes, tuition for this life-saving game. Oh, yeah, we're going to save some lives today. Shout out to Wayne. He writes, peace to the saints, tuition. Came in via PayPal. And shout out to all the folks who actually support the work. You are truly appreciated. Now, let's take a look at what this black female said. And I say female because this is not the action of a woman. This is not the action of a black woman. Gentleman writes, what's really good? Peace to the saints. My fiance doesn't want to move with me to Phoenix because she doesn't like it. How am I supposed to be a leader when she's stubborn and unsubmissive? You're lucky. If you don't have any kids with her and you have yet to marry her, start transitioning her ass out. You need a new woman, 100%. Listen, I cannot tell you how many times I've asked a woman, hey, would you mind living here? Fill in the blank with any place on earth. And the answer is, are you going to be there? Well, then yes, I'd be happy to be there. In the worst case scenario, a woman will say, I don't really like it. I don't speak the language, but if you're going to be there, what else do I need? Always the answer. If there's any pushback based on the location, that lets you know, well, damn, shorty, are you going there for the environment or are you going there to be my woman? Am I the leader and you're the follower, or are we equal partners? We're trying to work out a deal. Do you ever notice that corporations don't have equal partners? They have a CEO because that is the most efficient and effective way to lead with one leader. You, sir, are lucky that you asked me this question right now. And every now and then I might say, you know what? This can go either way, or I would do this, but do what you do. I am telling you, law, get rid of her. And you don't have to get rid of her right now immediately, but start transitioning her out. Believe that. Oh yeah, you got you a real scumbag on your hands, my boy. A real scumbag. Shout out to Mr. Brewer writes, treat the like button like a doorbell. Hit it on your way in. Peace to the saints. I appreciate you. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, I tell you, this man said, I'm moving to Phoenix, and Shorty talking about, I don't like Phoenix. Listen to me, my boy. She got a lot of opinions. Oh, that ain't going to work out over the long term. I absolutely promise you. Ooh, I promise you, man. Yeah, you didn't dodge the bullet. You asked the big homie, man, you're lucky. You're lucky. And I know the answer to that question because you got to remember, I've been running businesses around the world. Think about it like this, my boy. I grew up in LA. Went off to college in Berkeley. Then went off to grad school in Baltimore. Then moved into Hollywood. Come on now. Then moved into then moved into Chicago, moved into Erie, Pennsylvania, moved into St. Louis, Missouri, moved into Seoul, South Korea, moved into San Juan, Puerto Rico. You getting the point? I moved a lot of times. Moved into Cincinnati. Did I say Chicago? I've moved a lot of times. You need a woman who is going to be on program. Hey, listen to me, buddy. I had an assistant. Yeah. Some of you may know her. I had an assistant who moved with me for 6 years. Wherever I moved, she moved. She was an assistant on payroll. She said, whatever you're signed up for, sign me up too. I don't even care where we going. Let's get it. Man, if your old lady ain't with you like that, man, she's a dirtbag. Throw her in the garbage. You hear me? And I mean every bit of that. I promise you that advice is gold. You ain't even got to think twice about that one. I'm 100% sure. I'll bet everybody life on that one. Get rid of her. I just saved you maybe $1 million. I saved you heartache. I saved you betrayal. She's not really about you, my boy. She's for the streets. The gut, nigga, she ain't even for the streets. She's for the gutter. Homeboy, I'm glad you asked me that. You made my day better by allowing me to free you. I done free more niggas than Abraham Lincoln. Good Lord, carrying on. Anyways, now to these dirt bags. You hear me? And I didn't even plan on getting turned up. I didn't plan on getting turned up today. Let me cool out. Psych! Here we go. So, and I'll read you the text that was written. Black women keep begging me for money. Maybe this is why successful black men don't date them as much. And what I'm referring to is that extractive nature, because no one wants to be used. Yes? And here's the kicker, gentlemen. That feeling that you have is the right feeling, because if she's with you for the money, don't consider her yours. Why? Everybody got money. Some have more than others, but you can always find a baller. Oh, I promise you. When I go in this particular building that I'm in right now, when I go to my car, which I have a nice car, I walk by a Range Rover, I walk by Bentleys, I walk by Rolls Royce, I walk by Mercedes, I walk by BMWs, I walk by Lambos. Everybody else in the building is doing pretty damn well. So if she's here for the money, I'm sure she could just get on the elevator and find another guy. You hear what I'm saying? Come on now. Yeah, let's pay attention, man. She ain't really signed up for the program. Shout out to Mason. He writes, if she doesn't want to move in with you, she's not going to be a helpmate to you. Leave her, my friend. Oh, 100%. And that's the nicest way you could say it. That was the most nice, kind, considerate way you could say it. I damn near find it offensive, the position she's taking. Anyways, so the responses are here, and I hope they're large enough to be visible to you. The one in question we're going to consider is by this individual here, and I'm not trying to put her name or information out there. I promise you, the way Facebook is set up, I could not obscure her name, unfortunately, because I would have to keep on, like I'd have to obscure this part, I'd have to obscure this part, I'd have to obscure this part, and I'd have to obscure this part. It's just too many things that would need to be blocked out that make it pretty much impossible. So in advance, I want you all to know that I have no intention of putting her name out there. I'm just using this as an opportunity to teach. So this is not to put her business out there. This is a public post. So she wrote this publicly, and we're just addressing a public post. This is not to put this individual's information out. So let that be known. Anyways, I'm going to read her message. Oh, first, actually, let me tell you what I know of her, which is, I don't know anything, but I'll say what I've observed. I got over 500,000, I don't even know what it is, maybe 520,000, but well over 500,000 followers on Instagram, well over 250,000 on one YouTube channel, and then a significant amount, 6 figures on other YouTube channels and what have you. So a lot of people. Very rarely can I notice someone unless they are posting consistently or replying consistently and saying things that are memorable and thought-provoking. And I always keep attuned to black women, one, because they're the most beautiful, and that always catches my attention. And number two, when they're both a beautiful black woman and they're saying things that are sensible, that's an irresistible combination. So I take mental notes of these people. And this particular woman, I noticed on many occasions, she seemed to be understanding the ism and being a good exponent of the ism. And I was very proud. I took pride in this black woman understanding where I am trying to push society. And I looked at her as someone who, though she's not a lady saint, so she's not one of us, but I looked at her as an ally, someone who understands what we're trying to do. And I appreciate her. I've seen her comment many, many times on my stuff over the years. And what I also want you guys to know is that, I'll just leave it at that. I've seen her comment many times. All right. So, this is what I wanted to say before. Remember, I never said I know her. I said what I observed of her posts online. What I observed of her posts online. So I don't know her, and similarly, she doesn't know me. And most of you guys online right now, and those who will watch this on the replay, you don't know me. Maybe if you've read my book, The Black Box, you have a better sense of me. You have a sense of what I come from. And it's probably important to read because most of you have trouble interpreting me because I'm not like anything you've ever seen. And also, I'm an extremely private person. You might think, oh, he's a public figure, so he's a public person, but no, I'm a private person. I'm an extremely private person, especially where it involves children, women, my loved ones, my family members, people on my payroll. I'm exceedingly private. And I'm also very conservative. I don't believe women need to be out in the public. Hell, we had someone, a repairman, come in today, and he had needed a broom, and he asked the woman, and I'm looking at, bro, like, are you out of your mind? Like, why are you even speaking English to her? And she didn't even answer or acknowledge, buddy. She looked at me like, go talk to a boss. And I'm looking at, bro, like, what kind of effeminate male are you? But this is the nature of weak males in our society. They talk to women instead of talking to the man of the house. This is the sickness in our society. But anyways, I'm extremely conservative and I'm very private about all of my assets, right? So in as much as that's the case, you could never know me from watching online. It's impossible. I am too private for that to be possible. But I give many opportunities. I host events at my homes. And if you guys have been following my movement for a long time, you would have been to several of my homes. I've hosted you guys at my home in Las Vegas, Nevada. I've hosted you at my suites in Las Vegas, Nevada. I've hosted you at my home in Atlanta. I've hosted you all at my Burton Plantation. I've hosted you all at my home in Miami. I've hosted you many places, welcoming you into my home. And so the difference between myself and a lot of influencers or celebrities is that I never wanted to be an influencer or celebrity. I grew up and I was always well liked. I was always popular. I don't have any complex where I need attention. I always had attention. But what I did want is to be a luminary, to be an inspiration to people, to empower people to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. And a major thing that I can teach is I can teach you how to start successful businesses, because that's what took me to the top. I can lead you in the direction of the right education, because that's what changed my circumstances, because I was born poor. You hear me? I'm talking about food stamps back before it was an EBT card. You dig? I'm talking about, I came from hard living, like my pop in prison doing 10. Mom is on dope. I'm talking about hard living. So I'm here to spread that message of you can actually get on in this world just by your own efforts, by what you know here and what you have here. That's what I'm here to drive. So that's why I come here to speak to you. Now, that being said, I am not known to you. You could come to my events, and many people have. Those people have seen me in person, and what they'll usually tell you is he's pretty much everything that you see online, and I observed his life in real life. I saw 2 Rolls Royce, I saw i8, I saw 2 Maybachs, 2-tone, one of them pearl white, matches his house. You know, I've seen his houses. I've seen everything he says. I've seen his women. Everything he says he does, he actually lives out. You can ask people who've been to my events. You can ask people. They'll tell you. But I still don't highlight that for the public. It's private. I'm a private person. Anyways, now, so I say all that to say this. You don't know me. Sometimes people look at celebrities or they look at influencers and they think they know them. You don't know them. And people who are dim-witted or immature or hateful or evil, they tell lies because it's easy to lie about me, because after all, you guys don't know me. Now, let's look at what she did. And remember, this is a woman who's a fan and a supporter, right? This is a black woman who's a fan and a supporter of a black man who has been doing the work to support black people for decades, literally. Now, let's see how she speaks about me. Let's take a look. And I really want to make a study of this. So this individual writes, the black successful men I know and see, they dated and married black women. Well, that's very good. That's a beautiful thing, Reese. That's a beautiful thing. But that's not the current topic. That's not the topic. You're off topic. Like, for example, if someone made a video and they said, black men can barely speak, write, and read English, it wouldn't make sense for me to go into the comments and say, I can speak, write, and read English at an excellent level. Or for me to say, all of my black friends can speak, write, and read English at a high level. It wouldn't make sense because that's not the current topic. I have to acknowledge that I am one black man. I am not all black men. That's number one. And then number two, I have to acknowledge that the black men that I associate with are generally higher performers and higher earners, and also sometimes higher educated. In my case, that's not the case. The black men I know are not higher educated, but they're definitely higher earners because they're good hustlers. So anyways, it's only in our selfishness that we're not really listening to what is said. And I talk about this in the Master Communicator course. We're not really listening, and we're so selfish that we're so concerned about the self. Me, we're a me monster. What's happening in my life? What's happening with the people I know? What's happening with me? And it's sad that she can't get outside of herself to acknowledge that there's a reality beyond your reality. So already we see that she's problematic. She's probably a single mother, a lonely mother, has no man, because who would want to be with a woman who is self-absorbed? Then she writes, black women are not monoliths. Yeah, I agree. And that's called a truism. A truism is something that's so obvious it needn't be said. I know many black women who are phenomenal. They can cook up a meal. They're happy to clean. And many black women are clean, except the ones with wigs. They're all dirty. But they can cook up a meal. They're happy to clean. They have a sunny disposition. They wear their hair naturally. Those are the black women I deal with. But I know that that's not the typical black woman. So yes, black women are not a monolith. But what we are talking about is what is common. And most importantly, what we need to solve. Every time you see me speak, you better know that this IQ of mine is dedicated toward a particular end. And I talk about that in the Master Communicator course. I never make a move. I never make a motion. I never open my mouth except that I have a specific goal. I am never talking to have fun or just to talk. Even a young lady asked me a question. She says, where would you travel to have fun? I said, I wouldn't travel anywhere to have fun. She says, well, how do you pick which countries you go to? Based on where the money is. There's some money I need to go pick up. There's a deal I need to do. There's something I need to find out there. I've never once flown to a country because it was fun. That's not what men do. Maybe if I was a boy, I think about what's fun. As a man, I don't do what's fun. If I did what's fun, I'd still play basketball. I stopped playing basketball because where's it going to take me? I've never had the realistic opportunity to become a professional basketball player and get paid for it. So I stopped because I realized those are the things of a boy at this time in life for me. Come on now. Anyways, then she writes, don't be trying to make excuses because you be bunny hopping, Quet. Oh, poor thing, poor thing. And then that's when we find out where the pain comes from, you see? A lot of black women who, like her, they're advanced in age, 25 years and older, still single, no prospects, some cases no children. In other cases, they have children, no man. And then they look around at the guys that they would like to have. Tall, good-looking, articulate, humorous, well-off, and well-known. I'd like to have a guy like that. He's with a white woman. Or here's what's worse. He's probably with a white woman. They don't even know. They're just sitting there lying. He's probably with a white woman. But that explanation, I'll tell you why it makes perfect sense to them. The reason the you're with a white woman explanation makes perfect sense is because they are single. So subconsciously, because they are so arrogant, they think that they're perfectly fine, even though they're deeply broken. And because I'm a perfectly fine woman, I'm good looking, I'm a catch, and I don't have a man, it's not because I'm a dud. It's because he's with a white woman. And these black guys, they're going for white women. That's why I don't have a successful black man. He's with a white woman. They don't need the truth. Because in fact, the truth is harmful and damaging to her ego. So they use the lies, comforting lies, soothing lies. Yes. And here's another thing. When they find that they are unwanted, rather than do the obvious thing, be obvious to a rational person, which is to behave better, offer more value, they just complain and lie and slander. They slander the man and they slander the other woman. Come on now. Yes, sir, Bob. We're going to get into it. So she writes, don't try to make excuses because you be bunny hopping, Quet. Well, now that's really interesting on a couple levels because it's like, number one, I've never met you. You've never met me. You're certainly not my neighbor. I mean, if you were my neighbor, you still wouldn't know what I do because I live on 62 acres. I can't even see my neighbors. I don't even have blinds or curtains on most of my windows. My property is surrounded by trees. How would you know what I do? You're a stranger. So how could you tell me that I'm a bunny hopper? You don't know me. You've never met me. You've never seen me in person. You're not my neighbor. I've never been pictured with a woman who's a romantic interest. I've never once went on the internet and said, hey, this is my girlfriend. Never once said, hey, this is my fiance. Never once said, hey, this is my wife on the internet. Never one time. No photos, no nothing. In fact, the internet is so devoid of information on my personal life, which again, you're like, damn, you know what? Now that I think of it, that's right. It's so devoid of information that lies have abounded. There's one source you can see, it says I have a wife named Jessica Burton. I was like, where'd they get the name Jessica? They just pulled it out of a hat. There's another character that created a lie. He said my assistant, literally my employee, was my wife. So in the absence of information, people just make up things because apparently I'm a fascinating character. And so they said there's a mystery person named Jessica. I don't know if she was supposed to be white or black. Then they say my assistant, which is my actual employee, was my wife, which is extraordinary because you can literally see her in a shirt from my company and then me in a shirt from my company. And we're in my office and there's a news article that talks about it and describes her as an employee, but still you have this nonsense. So in the absence of information, people make up lies. And they generally will make up the lie that suits their emotional state, right? Because lies are not from integrity and rationality and logic. Lies are from wickedness, evil, deceit, and untamed emotions. So fascinating. She says, well, you're a bunny hopper. And I'm just like, damn, that's crazy. Because I'm actually not a bunny hopper. And this is not saying that I wouldn't just pile drive a white girl. I absolutely would. I'll devour, bring 20 bad ones right now. I'd devour the whole lot of them. You heard me? Yeah, I'd devour all 20 of them. Yeah, I got a king's appetite. Bring me 20 of them things. Vanilla, chocolate, give me some yellow ones, throwing some Arabs. I'm devouring the whole bunch of them. You heard me? Yeah. I'm like that. But in terms of being a bunny hopper, no, that's not the case. But here's the other kicker, and it's important. I'm not a racist. I don't have any problem with whites, Asians, Latinos, all that other stuff. It just so happens that that's not my preference, meaning it's not my go-to. So if you want to call someone a bunny hopper, one, don't lie. Find someone who has a white girlfriend or a white wife or white children, mixed children, something like that. And again, I'm not degrading that. I'm just saying that happens to just not be true of me. There's nothing wrong with it. I talk about this in the Black Code. I specifically talk about interracial dating in the Black Code. I encourage all of you to check out the Black Code if you haven't already. This person writes, of course, all you pro-Black N-words are the same. And again, if you have something to say, I'd be more than happy to bring you online so that you can express your frustrations. We'd be happy to hear from you. We just ask that in our comment section, you don't put in your negativity and your poison. It's not a place of debate. So if you'd like to come on and express yourself, we'll give you the link. All we ask is that you don't curse, and we'll be happy to hear you out. And mind you, folks, these are all bots. That's why they never come. I give them a kind invitation. They never show up. They're all bots, mentally unwell. But anyways, shout out to Antonio came in using the Stripe link to support the work. We appreciate you. Shout out to Bilal. He writes, peace of saints, quick question. I have a 6-figure offer in SLC, Utah, but it's a 1-year contract plus a full-time New York biotech role at $60K. My target field, if you mean target, meaning the one you want to go into, that's a good sign. With other NYC/DC roles pending, would you prioritize pay plus short-term security or lower pay that builds toward my field? Well, I would certainly want more information than this. This is a good start. If you need to ask me further questions, and this is an important thing, you can go to rizzdem.com/MarquettDavon, rizzdem.com/MarquettDavon. But let me tell you this, Boss University teaches you the right mindset for success. Remember, in 5 years, in 10 years, you'll still be alive. So being that you'll be alive, the question is, do you want to be closer to your goal or farther? So if you're thinking long term, you're always going to go with what is on track. aligned. So there's the clear answer. Go with the role that has less money and is more aligned. Because remember this, if you're excellent at anything, generally the money is going to roll in. I promise you that. But here's another thing that's more important than money: happiness and peace of mind. There are a lot of things I could do that will make money, and I don't do them because it doesn't make me happy or it's exhausting to me. For example, Andrew Tate, we're seeing that right now. He's suffering greatly because he's done that which can make money, but it wasn't the right thing to do. So almost never should you allow money to be your only deciding factor. Me, I always factor it in, but it is not the only factor. I always factor it in. You better believe that. Thank you for that question. And I hope that many have been able to benefit from the answer to that question. Shout out to Ramon writes, it's Taliban time out here. Tuition for the work, peace of saints, bro. I'm trying to tell you, man, it's absolutely Taliban time. Shout out to Mr. Chambliss. He writes, some black women that I've come across as possible romantic partners were a coolness to my eyes and we are blessed with each other. Others were demanding money. A few women of other races did the same, but it was slightly more rare. Agree. And that's all I'm saying. And here's the thing. I'm here to address the shortcomings of the black woman so that we can teach the black female, the girl, and make sure that she grows up correctly so she can actually get a man of value and create a family of value. It's all strategic. Shout out to Dwayne. He comes in via PayPal. He writes, I'm 29 years old without a college degree or trade skills. Damn. My girlfriend is 25, that's a W, and we hope to have 2 to 3 children. That's a good start. So timing matters to us. In your opinion, which course would be more beneficial in my situation? Boston University or your product-based business program? That's a tough one, my boy. But I can tell you in terms of if you're seeking a very specific, discrete outcome, I'd go directly for the money. I think mindset is of great value. So if it were me, I'd go for Boston University. Not knowing anything about you, I'd say go directly to that which is going to turn into a dollar most quickly. That would be the product-based business course or the AI course. And we've had people who took my AI course and literally built an app. And while the practicum was still going, while the course was still going, they were already making money on their technology. So you got options. And thank you for that question. I'm wishing you much success, and don't let money hold you back from anything. If you want to have kids, have kids. Poor people have kids all the time. So it's not about, do you have enough money to have kids? It's about, is this woman good enough to have kids with? That's your only question, gentlemen. That's a little bit of free game right there. You are welcome. Now back to this scallywag here, and continue to send in your comments, questions. We got some game flowing today, folks. And shout out to Gioni, who came in via Cash App. Just wrote, supporting the work. I appreciate you. And shout out to Evan, came in via Cash App as well. He writes, for the best in the business, in a real way, by far. Ain't even close. Carrying on. So Shorty tells a lie right here to make herself feel better about being single. And this is an insult, mind you. And it's not only an insult because it's an insult. It's an insult because it's a lie. Like she's lying. It's also an insult because the way I look at it is like, hey, sis, we don't know each other. We're complete strangers. But when I ask, what have you ever done for me? You watching, what have you ever done for me? Nothing. You never sent me a single penny. You never did me a favor. You never helped out with anything. You've done nothing for me, which is fine. What have I done for you? I've given you high quality information and entertainment for 7 years. I've given you a place you can come back to have your thoughts provoked, to be inspired, to feel pride. For 7 years, I've done that for you. You've given me nothing back for it. And this is how you repay me. Extraordinary. I'm a part of your life. And this is how you repay me. You're not a part of my life. If I block you, it doesn't change my life at all. But if I block you and you've been watching me daily for 7 years, it changes your life a lot. I've given you value. You've given me nothing back. And this is how you repay me with unnecessary disrespect. Does that make sense to anybody in the audience? Am I going off far? Am I tripping right now? Let me know. So then she writes, it's cool, like what you like. So then she's lying. She writes, I still love you. honey, you don't know what love is. You don't know love. And this is so common that people don't know love. And this goes across all the racial categories, but especially the black female. Oh, she does not know love. When you hear her talk about relationships, it always goes back to money. And I'm not talking about black Americans. I'm talking about black females. This includes you Africans, because you guys like to lie a lot. Yeah, you Africans like to lie a lot. Claim that the African women are so moral and all this stuff. Stop it. Stop it. Black women. I'm talking about black women. And I mean that. I'm choosing the correct terminology. Huh? Come on now. She writes, I still love you. You don't know what love is. You have no idea. Because let me tell you guys something about love and respect. Number one, women communicate in love. Love is chiefly important to women and soft men. Men are about respect. Respect is everything. For example, woman was just telling me, she says, you know, I didn't have your meal ready and you flipped out. She was like, that was an overreaction. I say, no. That was how I really feel. And that was an appropriate reaction because it was disrespectful. What? Yeah, disrespectful. The standard is that you offer me or provide me food every 4 hours. Hey, it's been 4 hours. Would you like to eat? No, I'm good right now. Great. Check back another 4 hours or another time. But if 4 hours go by, 5 hours go by, you've not offered me anything to eat, you've not brought me any food, it's disrespectful because we've established the standard and the expectation. You have not shown me my respect. And yes, I'm very displeased at disrespect. And to me, respect is everything. To men in general, respect is hugely important. To me in particular, respect is hugely important. So when I feel disrespected, then yes, things are going to go left. And if you'd like to understand this as a woman, think about how you feel if you feel unloved. You feel like, I don't love you. Just imagine how you feel as a woman. If you feel like, I don't love you, that's how I feel when you disrespect me. Well, you don't care about love? Not particularly, no. If we could go from now till I die and I get my respect every day, or I could get love from you every day, I'll take the respect. Leave the love where you leave it. Give me the respect. You see, because a woman can love you and disrespect you. She could love you and treat you like dirt. She could love you and not show up in the right way as a wife mother. Come on now. You understanding me? Love is garbage. Love does not have a set of behaviors. Love does not have a standard. Love is uncontrolled. Love is emotional. Love is unpredictable. Love is dangerous. Keep that over there. That's for the girls. It's for the girls. Men don't need to deal in love. That's for girls. It's for Disney movies. Stop it. Knock it off. So anyways, she says, I love you. First off, your love doesn't count. I don't know you. I've never met you. I've never even shaken your hand. I've never laid eyes upon your face. You could walk by me. I wouldn't recognize you. You don't love me, but you don't even respect me. And that's really a shame after all I've given you. It's really a shame. And then she writes, but I had to say it. Oh, I believe that part. You're saying, Marquette, you're one of the best among us. Black man with education, black man with articulation, black man economically empowered and even hires black people and allows them to provide for their black families. Black man who engages in philanthropy, supports single mothers and their families in Los Angeles. Black man who supports families in Ethiopia and families in Uganda. I had to say it. I had to tear you down. I had to disrespect you. And then you have to say to yourself, well, damn, you got to disrespect me. Huh. So I guess when you were saying about the other black guys, oh, they can't pull their pants up. They're always talking ghetto. They're unemployed. They're broke. They don't do nothing for nobody. They're deadbeat dads. I guess when you're saying all that bad stuff about them, it didn't really matter that they're uneducated, unemployed, and all that. You were going to tear them down anyways, because that's what you do. You tear people down. Not people, you tear black men down. That's what you do. Come on now. This person writes, what about disagreements? Will those comments be removed? Well, Sophia, I don't know if you just showed up. This will be the fourth time I said it. The live chat is not for debate. It's not for disagreement. It's not for your negativity. If you have a meaningful objection or a meaningful point, we will give you the link to come on and express yourself. I have no problem with people saying, hey, I have an alternative perspective, and I really feel what I feel. I'm not trying to get clout, but I have an alternative perspective and I want to share it. We'll hear you out. But our comment is not the place where, or excuse me, the comment section is not the place where you spew your negativity. Sorry, that's not what it's for. And she wrote, why? You don't get an explanation as to why. That's not what it's for. You see, and that's what women need to understand. When you're in a man's house, it's his rules. You don't say, why are these the rules? You abide by the rules or you get out of the house. So now you understand the rules of this house. If you don't like the rules, you can leave and get out of the house, or you can abide by the rules. And that goes for everyone in the house, everyone. I even try to follow my own rules, you see. But now you have the answer that you were seeking. You're welcome. Carrying on. And gentlemen, that's how you break it down. You don't have to explain a thing. You don't have to explain a damn thing. You could, but it's not always necessary. Now, carrying on. You guys will notice people feel so strongly about what they have to say. As soon as I say, come on and express it, then quiet as a church mouse. And what that lets you know, what it lets you know is that they really don't believe in what they're saying. They're not serious about what they're saying. They're trolls or they're bots. They're not real human beings. That's why they don't come on. You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, carrying back on. She writes, I had to say it, which is to say I had to speak against you. Black leader, I had to speak against you. Black leader. What is a man? A leader of a family. Interesting, Marquette. It's getting interesting. So if she was a wife mother, she'd understand the concept of following a leader. If she's so pro-black as she says, she'd have a black man running her household. So the idea of a black man in the position of a black leader, that would be something familiar and something that she would respect. She'd probably think twice before she went to disrespect me in the public. She could have sent me a DM, or she could have just shut her mouth and stayed in a woman's place, which is to follow, to assist, to support, not to lead, not to object, not to deride, not to tear down. Come on now, black women. I hope you wrote some of that down. Huh? Exactly. He writes, I still love you while publicly speaking out against you. That is not the kind of love we want. No, sirree, Bob. There have been times I've been having public conversations with men I respect. They used a word incorrectly. I did not correct them. When we were in private, I said, hey, you said this and this. This is the correct way to say that. I'm not telling you to correct you. I'm telling you because I want you to look good when you're back out in the public. The reason I didn't correct you then is because some people may have heard you and not realize you said the wrong word. So I'm not going to embarrass you. I'm not going to make it look like you don't know something. I'm not going to make you look like you are not the great man that you are. So I wait till we're in private. I tell you what is correct so that when you're back in the public, you look great. I say this correction, not to make myself look smart or to look good, but because I want you to look great. Huh? Come on now. That's love. These women don't know love. They know extraction. And she only verifies my point. Shout out to Daz. He writes, peace to the saints. Peace of the saints indeed. And shout out to the Daz. He has a great technology, which I was actually using recently. He was in my AI course, and I always want to throw a oop. Let me tell you what his website is. He has a phenomenal product. It's called Massage Meetup, and it allows you to schedule masseuse. Now, for me, this is hugely important, especially if you do combat sports. Your body gets beat up. If you do football, your body gets beat up. Rugby, your body gets beat up. Or if you're not stretching enough, you're aging, your body gets beat up. So Massage Meetup is a great technology that allows you to schedule masseuse around your convenience, which is something I love. I love convenience. So I use this technology. He created that technology in my AI course. And before we finished the course, he was already making money. Phenomenal product. I'm happy that I can use it. So do check him out. Support him. And we always say, we support the community. We support those who are like us. May I also acknowledge Andre. He writes tuition. Andre, I was actually thinking about you recently. Did you end up making that brown chest bag? Because I have his black chest bag. It's actually right over here. It's a black leather chest bag. And I wanted the brown one too. So let me know if you make that one. If you guys don't have his brown leather chest bag, it's fire. I believe it's on mdblabel.com. You can check it out. So let's go ahead and get into this work. So let's look at what this young lady is saying. And I want you guys to notice how the devil works. Notice how the devil works. So this is what she said, and then she put all these emojis. And it is only those who are immature or effeminate who put emojis. So effeminate, she's a woman. She has every right to put unnecessary extra things. This is what women do. And also weak males, they tend to use emojis because they're zesty. Every now and then throw in an emoji. Top two of them. Okay. All right, my boy. Two of them. Anything over two, you're zesty. You like it up the backside. Okay. So here's my response. Reese, look at you playing games with my name. And as I say, respect is hugely important to me. I hate the idea of someone playing with my name. I really do. And it's because I've lived an upright life my whole life. That's why I could write a book on my life. And in fact, I was requested to write this book. I never thought I should write a book. I'm a great guy. I should write a book. No, sirree, Bob. I was asked to write this book by a professor I had when I was 16 years old. She said, Marquette, I'm an English professor. I teach from books that the students cannot relate to. She said, you are the only person I know of who was an actual criminal and made it into corporate success. At which point I said, well, what about like Jay-Z? She said, well, he was a criminal, but he became a musician. How many black musicians do the kids know about? A lot. How many black athletes do they know about? A lot. You didn't go into entertainment. You went from being an actual real criminal, because I heard about you, to actual corporate success. I don't think these kids can be Jay-Z, but maybe they might have an easier time at being MarquettDavon Burton. I need you to write that book. She lobbied me over the years to write the book. That's where this book came from. And the only time I decided to write it was when I was running my business in Puerto Rico. Still had offices throughout the country. I had an office in Puerto Rico. I just opened it up. And then there were 2 Category 5 hurricanes back to back, and it almost killed me. And then I said, I don't have any children. Maybe I should leave something. And I started to write the book because there's no electricity in Puerto Rico. And during the day, what else could you do? There's nothing really to do. No cell phone service. Electricity is out. People are in disrepair. Your home is destroyed. It's a good time to write out some things. Ease the mind. So I say all that to say, you're playing with my name. I promise. And if you've read my book, you know I don't like people playing with my name. There's a story in this book of some rascals who were playing with my name, and it did not end well. I was raised in a place where we say, don't speak up on me. You speaking up on somebody, it can get you killed. No exaggeration, it can get you killed. I don't like people speaking up on my name. And truth be told, whether it's a dude or a female, I don't care. You get the same treatment. I really feel like that. I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, it's a girl, let it go. Nah, hell nah. Don't play with my name, shorty. In real life, don't play with my name. I write, you should be ashamed of yourself. And you should. Imagine a black man who works on behalf of the black people, and here your goofy ass go trying to tear me down. Literally for no reason. That's the crazy part. Imagine if it was a situation where I done Dr. Umar'd everybody money. You heard me? I Dr. Umar'd everybody money. I'm over here in the casino litty with your money. I've never done anything like that. You're getting at me foul over nothing, over your own inadequacy as a woman. Come on now. Then I write, you've never met me in my life, yet you're telling me who I date? You never even seen me on a date. This is my exact point. Don't know how to be supportive. This is the whole point I was making about black women. You don't know how to be supportive and stay in a woman's place. Not all black women, just the average one. You are against the black code, meaning your current conduct is in direct contradiction to the black code itself. You're in violation. You're against it. You can be on code. That means you're doing the right things. You are helping the black people. Then you can be off code, meaning you're not doing the right thing, but you're not going against black people's interests. You might not be helping us, but you're not hurting us. Then there's against code. You're literally hurting us. There's a black man. He's trying his best to help black people. Let's attack him. What do you need the CIA for? What do you need the FBI for? What do you need COINTELPRO for when you have this broad? When you got a broad like this, what do you need the KKK for? You don't. Just send in the black woman. Send the black woman. She'll get the job done. I wrote, I've said what I said for constructive purposes. Yes, constructive, to build. What am I building? I'm building culture. I'm building people. I'm building families. I teach the black female, you are wrong to be extractive and think a man is money. A man is a husband father. He is one who guides you, leads you, protects you, comforts you. He is not money. I'm constructing a new view, a new world view. I'm constructing. Everything I'm doing is highly strategic. One day you guys will look back on the life I've lived, on the things I've said and done. And you'll say, God damn, that man was smart. He was smart. But instead, what did she say? Was she constructing or was she destructing? She was attempting to destroy me. And that's what so many of these black women do. They put you in the child support courts and destroy you. Yes? Got your wages garnished. You can barely survive. Destroy you. Come on now. And she is a live example. The irony could not be more clear, but I want you to notice the level of evil. Many of these kind of black women have gotten men killed. Marquette, what do you mean? Yes, they spread evil, poison, lies, and rumor. And then it expands and it engulfs other people who otherwise had nothing to do with the situation. Let me teach. Pay attention to how her evil emboldens the beta males and the other devils to creep out of the shadows to try to strike at a black man who is doing good works. And I want to say one thing. You often will hear black folks, especially broke black folks, and they'll say, man, why ain't Jay-Z helping out black people? Why ain't not Tiger Woods, we already know, but why ain't fill in the blank with someone who's black and well off? And they'll say, why ain't he helping black people? Why he rich? He's a billionaire. He a millionaire. He got millions. Why he ain't helping black people? This is why. This woman right here, and the way she dragged me out and disrespect me, this is why. This is why. I showed you guys my YouTube analytics back end. I earned $1, I think it was $1.16 from YouTube. I earned $0 on Facebook. I earned $0 on Instagram. I'm literally doing this because I truly believe I came into the game in a pretty solid position. I put myself at great risk trying to help you. Does that benefit me to help you? No. Another thing you guys might not realize, if you go to peacetothesaints.com, you scroll to the bottom, you click products, you'll see products that are being sold on my website under my brands and most of the products I designed. And the money, does it go to me? No, it goes to somebody just like you, someone who was a fan or someone who became a member. And I taught them product-based business. I blessed them with a design. I blessed them with connections, supply chain, manufacturers. And now they have a product that's making them money. I've sent out over $600,000, well over $500,000 that could have went into my pocket to you. That's a true story. But when I say that, no one ever says, wow, because it's almost like it's not real. It's almost like it's not real. But most of you, your parents are borrowing money from you. How is it that a stranger on the internet would put money in your pockets, but your parents, your own parents, borrow money from you? Your own parents take money from you, but no one's ever so appropriately impressed. Like, damn, this man has put over $500,000 in our pockets. And you might say, Marquette, is that true? Yeah, because I have an accountant. Yeah, I have an accountant. So I know exactly what goes in and what goes out. And also, let me be fully transparent with you. I have an assistant whose primary job is make Marquette money. And one thing she always tells me is, Marquette, you know what? If you give your watch design to one of the saints and let them sell the product, that's a high profit margin product. Why are we doing that? Like, what does that have to do with the revolution? That's just taking money out of your pocket. And it's true. There's no other explanation other than I truly believe that giving them a safe environment to learn entrepreneurship and letting them practice with low risk will increase their investment in the idea of entrepreneurship so that they can be free and independent. And this is my gift to them. That's the only answer. But still, nobody ever respects it at the appropriate level. You give strangers $500,000, people act like it's regular stuff. Yeah, that's the world we live in. They act like it's regular stuff. Yeah, I know. It's a sick world we're in. Then you got this goofy broad who wants to disrespect me. Then you ask yourself, well, damn, I could have just stayed in the cut, continuing my life, making good money, flying around the world, enjoying the best of women, and not have to be criticized and disrespected by a random lonely mother. And kept more money in my pocket and not had to get disrespected in the public sphere. Huh? Huh? Come on now. Come on. Anyways, carrying on. It's crazy. And you know what? I really have to stop being so generous. Honestly, I do, because there's no ROI on it. There's no ROI. Umar steals $4 million from you. Steals $4 million. I give out over $500,000. We still get the same level of respect. How's that add up? That's the world we're in. It's a sick world. There's no thankfulness. There's no thankfulness. This is the world we're in. It's utterly bizarre. Let me acknowledge some of the folks supporting the work. And shout out to the people who actually support. Shout out to those men who make their name known. Shout out to those men who pay what they owe. Shout out to those men who stand up. I appreciate you. Dark writes, Peace of Saints, can't afford your course right now, but do any of your books give an insight on how to thrive in this system? I know your courses are the primary guideline, but I would like one of your books. Well, when you say this system, are you talking about the economic system, the sociocultural system? Which system? And when you say thrive, do you mean how to be happy? Do you mean how to be wealthy? There are different ways that people define thriving. I wrote this book, The Black Box, and this one I think is perhaps what you're seeking. And it's now in hardcover. It was actually one of my test copies. But this book is one that should at times piss you off, at other times inspire you. And most importantly, it'll cause you to look into the mirror, look at yourself, and it'll cause you to want to be able to write your own story. The goal when you finish reading this book should not be that you admire me. It should be that you admire you and that you are inspired to have a life that is worth people reading about. I think we all should strive for that for ourselves. Shout out to Mason writes, see, this is why I got a Becky. From seeing/dealing with my own family members and ex-girlfriends, she doesn't give me any of that mess. The man said what he said. Shout out to Mariam writes, not a thing, just supporting the work. Shout out to the saints in Europe. I appreciate you. And shout out to the lady saints. And shout out to all the women who watch and appreciate meaningful information. Dwayne writes, thank you for the answer. I originally came through PayPal, and I believe based on your answer mindset is what I deeply need, Boss University. Okay, there you go. And you know the answer. I acknowledge rhetorical Buddha writes, I dropped in late in the middle of you talking about how you would take someone out. What was that about? Okay. He writes, hit me in the DM about whatever you were talking about. I'd like to talk to you in person about that one-on-one. I'm sick of listening to you, so I'm going to leave. This is another weird thing. So when people say, I want to talk to you one-on-one, it's like, you got to remember, I don't know you. Like maybe you've watched me for hours and hours or years, but I've never watched you. Like I don't know you. So as a grown man, if you're not a part of this thing of ours, if you're not a member at peacetothesaints.com, I don't know you. I don't have any connection to you. So I have zero interest in meeting you. To me, it just sounds a little zesty, to be honest with you. Bro's message just sounds a little zesty to me. And yeah, if you remember, you might just see me at a workout. All of our sections around the world, they have regular workouts. When I drop in your country or your city or your state, 9 out of 9, I'll just show up at your workout. It's not going to be a meet and greet. You don't have to pay any money. You're going to be doing your regular workout, and I'm going to pull up and we're going to work out. And we're just going to have a good time. But that was a weird message. I feel like this is the kind of stuff that I talk about in the Master Communicator course, is that communication is critical. Like that guy, maybe he's not a weirdo, but he certainly portrayed himself as a weirdo. I want to talk to you one-on-one. Like, why? Who are you? You're literally nobody to me. So what sense does that make? Even if he was a female, it would still be like, I'd still be like, yo, who are you? And the world is getting weirder by the day. By the day. Anyways, shout out to Mr. Naeem. He writes, peace to the saints. I hear women ask about absolutely insane questions. I hear women ask absolutely insane questions like, quote, don't you care about love, end quote. And it always serves to remind me, women genuinely believe men and women are the same. That's correct. And it's not so much that they believe we're the same, it's that they're so narcissistic, self-absorbed, they can't get beyond themselves. So that's all they can see is the self. So even when they're looking at you, they're still trying to see themselves. It's crazy. Marquettism is for the kids. Marquettism saves lives. Bruh, you ain't never lied. And it's very funny because women talk about love, but they behave based on business efficiency. Men are looking for love sometimes. Women are always looking for money. Men are trying to get a love match. Women are trying to get a business deal. So all that talk about love, low key, that's a finesse. You hear me? Yeah, low key, that ain't really what it is. You got to stay sharp out here. Huh? May I also acknowledge via Venmo, Omari writes, a man wanted money to buy cigarettes and water. I said I wouldn't give him any for cigarettes as I would not enable his poor decisions. My saintly nature won and I gave him money. He complained that it wasn't enough to get cigarettes. I had to stop myself from. Listen, that was not your saintly nature. That was your weak nature. A saint would not have given him a penny once you knew that he's a cigarette smoker and he had possibly wanted the money for cigarettes. That's not your saintly nature. That's your weak nature. Marquette, what do you mean? We have a 3-sentence Bible. Be yourself, be good to yourself, be good to good people. Be good to good people. What are the chances he's a good person? He is begging. He has no family, no friends who will support him. Maybe there's something wrong with him. He smokes cigarettes, which is a very bad habit, and we speak against intoxicants. So that's a violation of the 3-sentence Bible, 3-sentence Quran, 3-sentence Torah. So that was not your saintly nature. That was your low, weak nature. You gave in to a level of pressure. You didn't give in to what is right. What is right may not go with what feelings you have, because your feelings at some level have been calibrated based on your experience on earth among people who are sick. So that was not your saintly nature. I hope everyone understands that. If you understand what I just broke down, go ahead, put a 1 in the chat if you understood what I was talking about there. That's really important, ladies and saints. May I acknowledge Ricardo. He writes, peace to the saints, tuition. Shout out to Iram. She writes, assalamu alaikum, brother Marquette. Appreciate everything you do, Iram. Wa alaikum assalam. I appreciate you. And it's beautiful to see women like Iram who are feminine, who are supportive, who are sincere, and who can be hearers, even if they don't agree with everything. In fact, Iram, it's funny that you messaged. I was literally talking to my old lady about you yesterday. Kid you not. So I thank you for your continued support. Carrying on. May I acknowledge, okay, I think we're all caught up there. Oh, here we are. Willie writes, first time paying tithes, even though I've been around for some time. As a man, I admit that. I respect honesty. I surmise that you would advise against doing so under limited resources, but it's overdue with love from 313. You know, that's interesting you say that. I've said this a couple times, but generally when you have limited resources, you should be focused on making sure you have your basics in order, which could include not even watching this stream. It could include literally turning off this stream and being on Indeed.com or picking up your phone and calling all of the people in your network to see if you can get linked to a better opportunity. So watching this stream itself might not be your greatest use of time, depending. But one thing I can tell you is there's certain ways that the human mind can fool itself, and you guys are mostly walking around the world getting manipulated by others. Very rarely do you say, I'm going to manipulate my own mind for my own benefit. To that end, I say this, to be able to give, it is such a beautiful feeling. It inspires you and it makes you feel like you have enough. And you might be shocked to know that there's some people who are very wealthy. They have a lot of dollars, but they don't feel wealthy, which is to say you can have wealth materially, financially, but not feel wealthy. And that would mean also that you could not have wealth, not be financially and materially wealthy, but you could still feel wealthy. And I can assure you that the superior position is always feeling wealthy, feeling the wealth and abundance. So I say that to say this. Sometimes when we give, it makes us feel wealthier, makes us feel more abundant, makes us feel happier. I'll give you an example of such. Just recently, in fact, literally yesterday, I'd flown in from Lima, Peru, and I was there one morning having breakfast by myself, and the woman came in to take my order, and she didn't speak a lick of English, which is usually fine, except when I'm ordering breakfast, because I try to avoid sweets. But when I do indulge, it has to be exactly the way I want it. Nothing, no detail can be wrong. It must be exactly the way I want it. So I must be precise in my language. And so I was trying to explain to her in Spanish that I would like to have your hotcakes, your pancakes, but I need you to put some butter in between each pancake and they must come out hot. So that has to be the case. And she was not understanding. Then the gentleman at the table right next to me, who just happened to be by himself as well, he said, Perdón, you speak English? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, no problem. And then he tells her in Spanish, she says, hey, this man says, you better put one piece of butter in between each of those pancakes and bring them out hot. And there's no other way to do it. And I appreciated that. So, eventually the food came out. It was not what I asked for, but this happens. And when I finished my meal, I got up, went over to there was a couple women at the register, and I said, hey, I want to pay for my food and my friend there. And they said, your friend? I was like, yeah, the guy at the next table. They're like, oh, you want to pay for both of yours? I was like, yes. She's like, are you sure? And I'm like, God damn, do I got to have a debate with you about this? Yes, I'm sure. And so she paid for it. And then I went back over there and I said, hey, thanks a lot. Breakfast is on me. He's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. He's like, really? I was like, yeah. He's like, wow. And I left. Now, it's a relatively small gesture. And the breakfast was relatively inexpensive. But to him, he was actually shocked that I paid for his breakfast. He was like, really? Are you sure? Really? It was like hard to accept. And especially for men, we tend to not take things for granted because we don't get a lot of free stuff. If it was a woman, I said, hey, I paid for your breakfast. She'd be like, oh, thank you. She wouldn't even questioned it. She wouldn't have thought twice, might not have even said thank you. But as a man, we don't get free rides in fancy cars. We tend to be more grateful. So he's like, really? Bro's like, really? It's like, yeah. He's like, are you sure? I was like, I already paid for it. So I say that to say this. To me, compared to other ways I help people, it was really just a drop in the bucket. But it felt so good to be able to help someone in general, especially someone who did something for me that they didn't have to do. He could have just sat there and pretended he didn't know English. He could have sat there and just minded his business and pretended he didn't hear me struggling to get the order right. He decided to take a little bit of a risk and do something kind. And I wanted to return that to him. And when you are good to good people, especially when you're good to the right people at the right time in life, and I talk about this toward the end of the black box, it's an investment and it pays dividends. And I truly believe if you're good to a good person, you're making an investment in the society, because good people, they remember and then they return it. You see, much of what I do is in reflection of people who have supported me, people who have inspired me. You know, I remember when I was a youngster and I had earned a fellowship, and even when I earned a research scholarship, I remember it was this old white dude who was in high finance. He financed a research scholarship I got at Berkeley. And I remember meeting him, and he was telling us about some of the other things he did. He said that he gave microloans in Vietnam to female farmers, which, again, you know, the whites and they try to upset gender relations using economics. But all the same, I respected the fact of him, you know, sharing his wealth. And it taught me, wow, like you can really help people anywhere you want. You can help people who are not like you or who are from different cultures. And it meant a lot to me. And that has inspired me, encountering men of that caliber. I say all that to say this, young man, to the guy who said he doesn't have very much. Number one, as a man, you have to pay what you owe. In general, you have to pay what you owe as a man. Doesn't matter. You have to pay what you owe. That's number one. Number two, when you are good to good people, it has a multiplier effect. I'll give you an example. Often people reach out to me and ask for stuff, which I wish they wouldn't, because I already have decided on what my philanthropic activities are. But every now and then, if someone reaches out to me, my assistant might say, hey, you know, I saw this, and they say they need this or they're asking this. And I'll say, okay, well, search their email. And she'll search their email. And in one particular case, a person had given $2 on Stripe years ago. Not years ago, maybe like a year and 3 months ago. So about a year and 3 months ago, they had given $2 on Stripe. And I said, okay, well, do him the favor he asked. And it was just, you know, sometimes you think the little things don't count or they don't matter, and they do. Which is to say, just the fact that I had seen his name before, like he existed in the past, he at least lifted a finger to do something for someone else or to contribute to this thing of ours. A year and 3 months ago, he had given $2. And I said, okay, well, give him what he asked for. Whereas if she'd have searched his email and like we just had no record of him, I'm like, this guy's a stranger. Who is this guy? We don't know this guy. Get him out of here. He's just a stranger begging. And we've seen many strangers begging. So what you do on the earth, it matters. You know, you may be a religious fool thinking that, you know, like I'm gonna go to heaven or I'm gonna go to hell, which is ironic because for Christians to, or even Muslims to think that they're gonna go to hell, the way they behave on earth does not indicate that they actually believe in it. If you believe you're gonna burn in hell if you don't do good deeds, you'd think people be doing more good deeds. But I say that to say this, on earth, you can have heaven or hell based on your deeds, based on your actions. I truly believe that if you do good things, your life will be more like heaven on earth. If you do bad things, your life will be more like hell on earth. If you do bad things, poison yourself with alcohol, smoke cigarettes, fail to exercise, you will suffer in this life. In the dunya, you will suffer. Anyways, carrying on. Sorry about that. Accidentally clicked play. Let's get back to this comment. And what I want to highlight here is the multiplier effect of female evil. Check this out. So this black female stepped out of her way to attack a black man who's actually doing the work to support black people. I replied to her basically saying, hey, I'm disappointed in you. Really? Then someone writes, but did he lie? Which is a fact. I did not lie. I, in fact, told the truth, which the truth matters not to wicked people. Then she writes, it's very misleading, so yes. What? What did I lie about? You'll notice she doesn't say he lied about this and then quotes me, because she's making up things, because devils cannot stand to be, they don't stand against truth. Devils use deception. So she said it's misleading. So yes, but doesn't say what was misleading. Interesting. And I think it's reading through all the responses because there's one particular response I want to come to. Then this person writes, all the brothers, young and old, I know who are very successful, from medical doctors, commercial pilots to lawyers, CFOs, are not married to black women. Even retired brothers I know divorce their black woman to get peace after all of those years of marriage. Now, hey, he said what he said. That is what it is. Then this other person writes, and guess what? Statistics show many black men dying. Okay, so this is kind of someone going back and forth. And you'll always notice when people are saying devilish things, often they'll have a fake name and a fake photo. I think it's just quite an interesting coincidence. But check this out. So here's another black female, right? There's a black female. We can see from her hair that she doesn't wear her true hair. And then she writes, exactly. Aha. Okay, so she's agreeing with you. So you've now created a place for wicked black females to huddle up and do evil, though you say you love me. Now you've created a place for the opposition to organize. Then you have this character with a fake name, right? So here's the fake name, and let's see what the picture is. Oh, you can't see the picture. Oh, interesting. So they got a fake name and no picture. And then this person writes, he gives DL vibes big time. And then they put 3 exclamation points, right? Now, this is interesting. So she's responding to this woman who says that she loves me. So why is it if you love me, you attack me? But more importantly, if you love me, why is it that people who clearly hate me seem to be comfortable talking to you and talking bad about me? Now, I want you guys, so you guys might not realize how much game that is. Pay attention. If you love me, why is it that people who hate me are comfortable fellowshipping with you, talking with you about the things they hate about me? Because I'll tell you this. If I say, hey, David Cooley is my man. I love David Cooley, right? If somebody comes around me like, hey, yo, David Cooley, you know, and they saying all this stuff, and I'm like, hey, yo, like, you better knock that off. Like, nah, you knock that off. Because you're not about to drag my mans through the dirt, because that's my mans. You're not going to drag him through the dirt, like, not to me. You go find somebody that doesn't like him. Drag him through the dirt over there, not over here, because I love the homie. You see how that works? When you actually do have real love for somebody, you're not going to let other people drag them through the dirt, and you won't drag them through the dirt. That's the difference. She drugged me through the dirt. Everyone else could see that she drugged me through the dirt. So they came over and said, hey, I'm also a hater. I'd like to drag him through the dirt too. But she said, I love you, which lets you know, gentlemen, people lie. Women lie. Black women lie. So she lied about the love. And so don't trust the words, observe the actions. Yes, indeed. Should be deeply concerned. Let's carry on. It gets worse. Oh yeah, and again, here's what you have to observe, and especially about the human female, they're very deceitful and they're gossipers. They lie. Like, this is their chief tool. Because remember, they're physically weak. If I was in person, I could Ike Turner both of these broads at the same time. And low key, they probably deserve it. But being that they're not physically weak, they're wired to not engage in direct conflict. They engage in indirect conflict so that they can avoid your aggressive response as a man. So instead of saying anything to your face, they'll say it behind your back. Instead of, using truth, they'll use deception. So the first woman, Reese, she lies and says you're a bunny hopper. Mind you, has 0 evidence. Then the second woman comes and lies and says he has big DL vibes, which is like, word. And it's ironic because I literally speak against the Skittle guzzlers. But because I speak against black women misbehaving, he has DL vibes, right? So again, the lies with 0 evidence. Notice it. You see the consistency here. See the consistency. Then you have this person with a fake name and a fake photo. They write, amen. Then when those of us who do not do this or know anyone who does, or we speak up for ourselves, it's all of a sudden a witch hunt saying, look at them. They have no accountability. Okay, so here's a black woman complaining. And it's so weird. She said, speak up for ourselves. You must be an unruly black woman. You must be, because that's what I was addressing. I was addressing the fact that many black women are unruly, incompetent. You must be one of them. If someone made a post and they said, black men don't speak good English, black men don't earn well, black men mumble when they speak, I would never reply and say, I don't do that. My black friends don't do that, because I don't feel attacked. I'd sit back and say, it's not true of me, but I can see how that exists out in the world. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. It doesn't have to be about me. I can acknowledge that there are things beyond me. You see what I'm saying? They have trouble acknowledging that there's a world beyond them. But here's the kicker. I was talking about unruly women, so I was talking about them. And hit dogs holler. That's why they're so offended. It's really sad. And so now this woman who claims to be a fan and a supporter, claims to love me, now she has created a place where haters can grow in number and unify. Yes? Organize. Yes. Then this gentleman comes in, another gentleman. He writes, did he lie? Now, I want you to notice the difference between good people and bad people, between a rational man and an irrational female. I didn't say woman, I said irrational female. The second man, he said, did he lie? He's concerned with the moral, upright thing called the truth. But he's dealing with beings who respect no truth. He's dealing with beings who have already lied and said, I have a white wife or a white girlfriend and white children. He's dealing with, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that's not my life. That's somebody else. Then the other lying black bedwench comes in and says he gives DL vibes, which is like, that's an abomination. That's a real insult to say about someone. But again, zero evidence. And oppositely, I speak against this very thing. This is the devil. They are deceivers in our midst. Imagine the greatest enemy of black progress is the black woman. Marquette, what about the black man? He's a problem too, just not as big of a problem. He's a problem too. And I literally address this in the Black Code. I have a whole lesson called the perverted black male. Yeah, a lot of them are perverts. That's their biggest issue. They're perverts. They don't have any self-control. Come on now. Then instead of acknowledging that, no, the man did not lie, what does the devil do? The devil persists in deception. Can you read? I answered this above. Go ask your mama. That was very, very mature, meaningful response. Go ask your mama. Very impressive for a 50-year-old woman. Extraordinary. Then let's see, just curious what other women are saying. Here's a black woman. Okay. She did filter her photo, which is kind of an L. She writes, I've never asked a man for anything. Well, again, madam, why are you talking about yourself? My big mama said a grown man already knows what he needs to do. He see your life, so I will never ask. I'm good even if I'm struggling. God got me. God got me, and I don't want it if I have to ask. And I'm 54 and black, and I don't need any clout. You could keep all that. Well, that's really interesting, madam. You're 54, right? Which is not young. And what you did not mention is that you're 54 years old and you're a wife mother. You didn't mention that. So I think we can safely infer that you don't have a man. You don't have a man. You're a lonely mother, or what's worse is you're just a spinster. You're just an aged woman with no kids and no man, which is a double L. Interesting, dear. Very interesting. And you know, the funny thing too, Maurice writes, at 54, if you're still begging for money, there's something wrong. Well, here's the thing. At 15, if you're begging for money, there's something wrong. At any age, if you're begging for money, there's something wrong. Huh? And look at this, another broke black female, unfortunately. She writes, boom, they know. If they don't naturally want to take care of you, then nah. It's like, These are all single women, because a woman who has a husband doesn't need to engage in these kind of conversations. A woman who has a man, like, this conversation is not even interesting because you already have a man who's taking care of you and doing his part. And the idea that you need to ask for something, well, why is that on your mind? Well, it's because you haven't gotten that need taken care of. There's certain things I don't discuss because it's just like so elementary. It's not something I would even think of, right? Like, for example, I can't remember the last time I ever heard someone mention the following term: gas money. I think it was like, I don't know, like the 8th grade or something. Like somebody mentioned gas money, like the 8th grade, like, oh, you got some gas money? Like, what that means is poverty. That means I am your friend or your family member and I want to do something to help you, but I need you to pay me because my love ain't enough. And I'm strapped on resources, so you got to pay me. That's what that means. It's just a terrible expression of being in a state of pecuniary distress, or being one who operates with limited disposable income, or being resource constrained or credit dependent, or in a season of economic restraint, or engaged in involuntary frugality, or, unencumbered by excess wealth is what that means. So the fact of the matter is that I've not heard anyone mention the term gas money like for multiple decades. And I'm thankful, because that reeks of just the lowest level of poverty and human indecency. So I say that to say, I would never bring up stuff like that because it's just so far away from my reality. Any woman who's engaging deeply in the conversation of yeah, and a man needs to know he needs to pay for you and he needs to take care, he needs to know all these things. It's like, well, you must not have a man. You're still searching for that. That's on your mind because it's still a problem that you've not solved. You haven't gotten beyond that. And that's kind of sad that you're 54 years old and you're on Facebook in the comments fighting for your life. To me, that's quite pathetic. You would think that you would have moved beyond that. And that's why they're there. They're there in those comments because that comment struck a chord. It had meaning. Like when people call black men degenerate, broke, low IQ, immature, deadbeat dads, all that stuff, it doesn't affect me at all. I don't feel any kind of way. If anything, I feel like, okay, well, if that's true, how can I help? How can I help the black men who are in that situation? If anything, I'm not going to claim it doesn't exist. I'm thinking, how can I help? And that's the difference. And that's an important difference. Let me acknowledge some of the folks supporting the work. May I acknowledge Chunky. Writes, hey, Marquette, 2 years ago, my woman and I had a child. She's become more talkative, less submissive, ain't that a bit, and blames it on postpartum. Is it BS or give her time? 2 years ago? Nick, I almost feel like getting up and, Nick, listen, Brody, I'm going to keep it a bean with you, man. I've definitely heard women blame postpartum on stuff. And one thing we as men, and I'm going to teach this in my training center, one thing we as men have challenges with is accepting the fact that women are all liars, but at a level they have a good reason for lying, because their emotions and their chemistry is changing on a consistent basis. And they can't even predict who they're going to be in 2 days. In fact, the science indicates that a woman is 4 different persons, 4 versions of herself in a given month, according to her biology and chemistry and the hormonal changes that are occurring. Men, we are steady. That's why you can say a man of his word. We have a word. We're steady. We don't have all these chemicals and emotions and hormones that are making us feel like things are real that aren't real. It's kind of like a dream. A woman will wake up for a dream. I had a dream that you said this and you did that. And it feels real. It feels real to them. And men, maybe you can relate. You maybe have had dreams that felt real, but it's not real. And that's kind of what happens with their hormones, is they're experiencing a lot more hormonal like changes and swings than we are, and it feels real to them, but it in fact is not real. It's not real outside of them. It's real on the inside of them, but not out in the real world. So I say that to say this: postpartum is a real thing. However, 2 years later, Brody, come on, my Neil, that ain't it. But here's another fact for you. So postpartum 2 years later, it's like, come on, knock it off. But your woman will change. And this is the shady part. She'll change because she might go through menopause and she might go through other hormonal changes. She might, be low on testosterone, low on estrogen, or even excessive in testosterone, or there may be some hormonal issues. It's going to change the way she behaves, the way she relates to you. It's going to change her sex drive. It's going to change a lot of things that matter. But at the end of the day, my boy, you got to lay down that law on her and let her know, hey, postpartum, all good, but we still have rules in this house. We have norms and expectations, and everyone has to pay what they owe. So you have to still perform. Postpartum, I get it. You still have to perform. And me personally, a woman can tell me, hey, I have a newborn. I have to wake up every 2 hours to feed it, or every 3 hours to feed it. And I'm like, yo, that is crazy. And she's like, yes, I'm not going to be able to make you breakfast. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. No, that is crazy. Well, what do you mean I have to wake up every 3 hours or 2 hours to feed the baby? I'm sleepy. I don't know. I don't know. You should figure that out. Figure that out. No, on God, you should. That sounds terrible. Figure that out. And if I can help, let me know. But really, I don't need to help. So just like low key, try to figure it out without me. But if you need me to help brainstorm, I might be able to help you. But what is not about to happen is my breakfast ain't gonna be ready. That's not about to happen. And within this culture of ours, we say wife, mother. You're a wife before you're a mother. Marquette, what does that mean? If the baby needs to get fed and MarquettDavon Burton needs to get fed, feed MarquettDavon Burton the first. Huh? Marquette, are you saying you're more important than a baby? I guess so. Yeah, I suppose that's what I'm saying is yes, feed me first. So I expect you to feed me and feed the baby. And if you are not able to figure that out as a woman, then either A, you don't really want to be a mother. You don't want to be a mother. You made a mistake. Or two, you want to be a mother, but you're not great at it. You're kind of like, you're not great at it. And people might be like, oh, you're heartless. You're heartless. No. It's just that you were actually designed to be a mother, and everything that you're doing, feeding the baby every 2 hours, the baby feeds from your breast, right? So that's your job, okay? And being that the baby is feeding from your breast, you're clearly the provider of foods. So make sure you provide my food as well. And if you think it's so hard, try to figure out how your mom did it. Is your mom a superhero or a human? Try to figure out how people have done it for like hundreds of years. And this is why I truly believe that polygyny, which is say a man having multiple wives, is the most reasonable, logical, appropriate, scientific, historically grounded way of organizing a family. Well, Marquette, what do you mean? Well, if you have 3 wives and one has a newborn, then you have 3 women that can help the other wife get some sleep sometimes, that can help prepare meals, that can remove the burden from the one woman. It's teamwork so that the man can continue producing, because when the man stops producing, everything falls apart. We all become homeless. So the man needs to continue being a worker bee. And you should be thankful, because truth be told, the man has the worst situation. He's kind of a slave to all of you because he has to work to support all of you. You see, if the man screws up in a significant way, then he might get fired and there is no income. If a woman screws up in a significant way in her duties as a wife mother, she might get scolded. That's it. Might get scolded. So the stakes are higher for the man. The stress is higher. This doesn't mean that his work is more important. It just means he has to do his work. And you as a woman have to do your work. Don't complain about your work. Be appreciative. And I want all the women listening and watching right now, I want you to know that before you become a mother, you really need to want to truly be a mother. And I'm going to teach this at the training center to the girls so that they understand what's involved in the role, so that they're prepared for the role over a lifetime, instead of all of a sudden you're 25, you failed to use proper contraceptive, and now you are pregnant and you're just now figuring out what it is to be a mother or even a wife at the same time. It's a bit too late. And I want every woman to know this. I appreciate a woman who, and this might sound crazy, but I want you to really sit with this, ladies and men. If I have a kid, 1 kid, 2 kids, however many kids, if I have a kid with a woman and she does her job as a mother such that my life only has to change 20%, she's doing a great job and I'm thankful. Marquette, what are you saying? You don't want to be involved in your kid's life? No, I'm saying that I only want my life to change 20% at most, which is to say, I want to continue the same patterns that I'm known for. And when I'm spending time with the woman, now the baby's there. And I only want 20% of my life to change, meaning that out of 100 hours, only 20 of those hours am I doing something that I otherwise would not have done in, say, the last 10 years of my life. Why? Because as a man, I was established enough to bring a woman into my life or women into my life and willing to allow them to create a family with me, doing a set of behaviors that I've mastered, and I've created a happy life, you see. So I need to maintain that stability because a major fuel for me is happiness. And if I'm not happy, I can't produce at the high level that allows all of us to enjoy a lifestyle that is at a high level. I don't expect my life to change significantly. I expect my life to change 20%, you see. A woman's life is about to change 80%. Marquette, what do you mean? When that newborn comes out, that newborn is attached to her body damn near. Oh, but don't forget when she was born, before the newborn came out, the newborn was in her body. So the woman's body changed, her biology changed, everything changed. Not the man's body. So in this sick modern world, we have the feminists who are also those females who they kind of want to be men. They lie and try to tell the man that, oh, you need to be as involved as the woman. How? It's impossible. I don't have breast milk. Already, it's impossible. When the baby cries out every 2 hours, he's crying out for breast milk in particular. It's not like I could be like, bro, don't even trip on that breast milk, my boy. This is a fine drink here. This is out the glass. You heard me? This is fine spring water. I don't even, where the hell, this is from Tuscany, bro. Have some of this. No, you cannot give this to a baby. The baby needs breast milk, and that comes from mom. You see, so that means that the baby needs mom in particular every 2 hours as a newborn. You see? So biology decided that, not MarquettDavon Burton. So don't get mad at me. Get mad at God. Huh? Come on now. Yes, indeed. Carrying on. Oh yeah, but and just my last piece for the women out there watching. Ideally, from age 18 to age 24, lock in a great man. Get your first birth under your belt if you can. And really want to be a mother. Like, don't become a mother if you don't really want to be a mother, because you do need to be up with the baby every 2 hours or every 3 hours, especially if you're monogamous. Like, man, it's tough. I mean, if you don't have a sister wife, it's going to be really tough. So really want to be a wife mother and like train yourself for that. That's not, you don't just show up to that job without any background. Like, train yourself for it. Be ready, be happy to do it. And what you should not do is become a mother and then expect your husband to change his program. Oh, you need to help out. Oh, like, can you clean this? Can you cook sometimes? Can we? No. Don't expect him to change his program. Marry the man you actually want and be thankful that he is who he is and that he's not going to change. Marry a great man and be thankful that he'll always be a great man, but don't try to change him. This person writes, unless you can afford 2 nannies. This person is lost. I can afford 2 nannies. I could afford 3 nannies. I wouldn't do it. And this is the problem with humankind. You see, they allow money to destroy their values. They allow money to destroy their sense of decency. They allow money to become their God. They think money is an answer to everything. Buy 2 nannies. Spend, buy, consumerist mentality. It's disgusting. It's truly disgusting. And you'll be a terrible leader as a man. If you're a wealthy man and your wife sees that you have money to spend on everything, she's going to start overspending. You'll be broke in no time. Vile. A nanny. So what you're saying is pay a stranger to help your wife. Come on, bro. This world makes me want to cry sometimes. It makes me want to cry. It makes me want to literally cry sometimes, this world. Anyways, carrying on. Shout to Levi. He writes, my grandma used to say, a hit dog will holler. These comments about to go crazy. And 100% they did. And the funny thing is you'll see the men in the comments saying that is true. You'll see the women denying the truth. Now, here's what you should notice. I said women ask me for money. I'm a man. So men would know the answer to this, not women. Men would know the answer. So if men would know the answer, why is it the women are in the comments saying, oh, that's not true? You can only talk about yourself, sis. You can't talk about any other woman. You only talk about yourself. And women lie to each other. There are chicks who have friends who literally sell their body and they don't know. I remember there was a time we did Saint City podcast where I'd have women in Las Vegas come and we did the dating talk show. I remember there was one time we took the chicks out to dinner afterward. We went to a restaurant, name is escaping me. It was in the Aria Resort. We got a big table. Shout out to Jabri. We had a big table over there, all the chicks there, and we're talking. And then at the end of the night, I'm talking to one chick and she's telling me how much she liked this other chick. And she's like, yeah, we exchanged numbers. We're going to be friends. And I said, oh, okay, that's surprising. She says, why? She's like, she's really cool. Why? I said, oh, because she's a scribber. She was like, what? I was like, yeah, she'd be dancing in the booty club. She was like, are you lying? I was like, nah, that's her actual job. She was like, oh, I would have never guessed that. She told me she was a teacher. I was like, I'm sure she teaches something, but she is a dancer of the exotic variety. Women lie to each other. So men would know the answer to this, but there you go. You got the women in there getting out of pocket and out of place, which is where they like to live nowadays. Huh? Shout out to Chris supporting the work. Appreciate you. Shout out to the first baller alert. Shout out to Mamba's office writes, went on a date last night. Gorgeous, educated, mulatto. Basically, she wants a wealthy, bruh, I'm trying to tell you, May. Yeah, I've seen it before. I've seen it many times. He writes, it's frustrating. I caught myself and stopped viewing things so negatively. The game I got was, I have to figure out how to weed out faster. What's your weeding process? Brutal honesty and figuring out what do I want to do with her once I figure out who she is at some level. And the sad thing is, yes, we have to vet them on the front end as best as possible, but also we have to be strong enough and saintly enough that when we figure out who they are, we react immediately, without delay. The problem is sometimes you'll be dealing with a chick and because you have time invested, you realize that she's a dirtbag or she has some significant deficiencies and you're kind of like, whatever. No, it's not whatever. You need to slide her to the side or take her out of that top spot because she's not qualified. In terms of vetting process, I actually did start working on a technology. It's called scientific mating. And I actually showed this one at the Big Game Conference. I haven't finished it, but what it essentially allows you to do is kind of have a chick do what essentially amounts to a survey. And on the back end, it'll basically tell you what kind of character she is. So it really automates, if you like, the Dr. Phil process. Shout out to Mr. Rev, came in supporting the work. I appreciate you. May also acknowledge Malaki writes, people don't care about truth or honesty. You ain't never lied. Shout out to the Book of Dark Truths. He writes, they'll abandon all that if it means they win against you when they hate you. Bruh. This man is wise. This man must have taken the Book of Dark Truths course. Because boy, if that ain't the realist. Man, listen, people will lie on you in a jiffy. You hear me? Shout out to Hills in supporting the work. Good to see you again. May I also acknowledge via Venmo, Daz. Looks like he said he sent an email. I'll see if, okay, I think I see it. Shout out to Mr. Chambliss. He writes, it's the little homie, the one but not the only, Marquette Jr. giving you lessons from a kid. Shout out to, okay, let's see. Wow, okay. Okay, very good. Nice. Okay, great, great. So we, shout out to Das. He just sent me a question via Venmo that he didn't want read aloud. It's about his technology that he created, taking my course. And he has some cool numbers. And he also put in some attachments too, showing his revenue dashboard, which is really cool. He's creating an impressive product. And Daz, I get some of your marketing emails, and they're actually really high quality. And truth be told, Daz, they're even better than any set of marketing emails I have. It is Hustlemania 14 for those of you who don't know. I'm actually going to have my assistant move into both of my properties. So that's how serious I am in Hustlemania 14, because I really want to lock in the realest of ways. But I like what you got here. Number one, what I would try to do, Daz, is if you can get in contact with your repeat buyers that you referenced here in this data, and I would ask them, what it would take to get them to recommend their friends. And that could be as simple as discounts. That could be, various things. And that's really how you want to move, because at the end of the day, generally birds of a feather flock together. So if you have this number of repeat customers that you reference, those people probably have friends who are at some level similar to them and would likely be the same demographic that you need to drive your revenue. So I'd figure out how to incentivize them to, give referrals. And sometimes it might mean, losing some profit. Okay, very good. Shout out to, okay, very caught up there. Acknowledge Urban. He writes, Peace of the Saints, training center / tuition. Okay, I got to remind everyone again. And, we really want to establish a model within the SaaS, and we're here to build culture, and we want to be a great example to the world. And we teach in business, you want to be open and honest. And the training center, we accept the money through the GoFundMe only, exclusively. Dr. Umar accepts cash apps and money orders and checks and PayPals. Hit the PayPal, hit the PayPal. And he does that to conceal how much money he's raised so that he can use it for his personal benefit. Conversely, I want you all to use the GoFundMe link, and I actually made the link shorter. Let me see if I can find it for you. I want you to use the GoFundMe exclusively because I cannot mix my money with the money of the training center, because the money of the training center is not my money. Yes, it is not my money. It's the money that is essentially for the kids, right? Yes, we will train men, we will train women, but the number one focus are the kids. And so that's the money for the kids. We want to be able to put into a building so that they have somewhere to come in mass and study and learn. So GoFundMe.com/F/Burton Training Center. That's the shorter link. If you guys can start using that, it'll be just a little bit easier to share with folks. And so I say that to say, if you send money on Venmo or PayPal or Cash App or the Stripe link or the Super Chat, that's not going into the training center's coffers. So I just want that to be fully transparent to folks. I want you to know where your money's going, and I want you to be able to account for it. So thank you for that support. Anyways, and thank you to all the folks who have supported the training center. I look forward to the day that it is built. It'll be a really big thing. Anyways, ladies and saints, it's been a pleasure to have this time to fellowship with you all. I thank you for having been here. In the comments, if you have any thoughts, questions, feel free to share them, and definitely hit the like button if you haven't already. And until next time, peace to the saints.